Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it with the old Super Clean. They loved our other videos so much that they went ahead and sent us more product. We got this box right here of the aerosol cans. Then we got this big box with all this good stuff. So that was pretty sweet. That was super nice of them to send me all that product. But what's even better than me getting more product is you getting product. That's right, for a short limited time. The next 7 days, all you need to do is comment down below in the video and all this stuff is yours. That's right, free stuff. So what we're doing is Super Clean wants to do a giveaway on the channel, and that giveaway includes cut. You wanna know why that fell? It's because it's empty, because we loved it so much that we use it in the shop and it's 100% gone. So you're gonna get some of the foaming stuff, wheel cleaner, the original formula, and some of the aerosol spray cleaner. This stuff's personally my favorite because it's so fun to use, as well as this wicked hat and the wicked t-shirt. What more could you want? All you gotta do is comment down below in the video, and all you gotta say is what you would use the cleaner for, and then after 7 days of the video being published, I'm gonna take all the comment usernames and put them into a program. It's gonna randomize and pick 3 winners. Once the winners are decided, I'm gonna go ahead and upload a new video announcing everyone, and then you're gonna contact me with all your information. We can get all this sent out. You can see right on the channel how well this stuff works. I clean a couple axles, transmission, transfer case, couple engines, skid plates. I mean, we use it for all the nasty, greasy stuff around here, and it works excellent. We've also cleaned a tractor with it, a few cars, I mean, a lot of stuff. I'd like to take a moment and thank Super Clean for giving me the awesome business suit, as well as the original shipment of products, the new shipment of products, and the giveaway. I mean, they're doing us a solid. Next time you're at the store, go ahead and get some Super Clean. You can find it at all major retailers. And let's be honest, if you're like me and you're sitting in the engine bay of a 1946 Willys Jeep, you probably need some. I got a real treat for you guys. Look beyond the Jeep parts and the Jeep itself. Oh, wah, 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 wah. That is a big old snake. How in the world did we not see that sucker when we're loading up all these parts? My gosh. I mean, had to been hiding something. And there's 3 of us and none of us saw him. Wonder if he has any friends or not. I have to be really careful. But let me give you the overview since we're all in here having a party. I saw a Jeep for sale, this one back there. And, you know, there's some parts, like all this stuff was sitting in the background. And it just said, you know, Jeep project, you know, doesn't run at the moment, but it did. And comes with some other parts. And I saw it uploaded for about a week. And I didn't think anything of it. And then I was like, man, you know, at the price, I was like, you know, the Jeep's not in terrible shape, but it's a little too much money. But I was like, I'll ask him anyways. I was like, does it have a title? He's like, yeah, it's got a title. So I was like, alright, you know, now I'm interested. And he's like, well, it actually comes with an entire Jeep worth of parts. I was like, what? This is a CJ3A that the guy I bought all this stuff from, he bought it from another guy. That guy took this Jeep 100% apart. You know, it's got the tires, wheels, there's a frame under there, the axles. That's a steering column from a 3rd Jeep that no longer exists. You know, it's got the body, all that stuff. Tranny transfer case, engine, I mean, it's all here. Relatively speaking, the big parts. And when I found out that that Jeep had a title plus came with another Jeep, I was like, well, now the price totally changes things because now it's a reasonable deal. I'm heading down the road and I get a couple miles from the guy's house. He calls me. He's like, hey, you forgot the books. And I'm like, the books? You know, what books? He's like, well, the Jeeps come with books. I was like, okay, you know. He's like, I found a title in one of the books. I was like, no way. Not only does this Jeep have a title, but that Jeep also has a title. I mean, now the deal got better after learning this came with that, but now that that's got a title as well, that means they're both actually usable, you know, to someone. So I'm feeling pretty good about everything right now, except for that snake over there. We'll see if we can't catch him And then I get unloading all the parts. I can tell he's staring at me. Maybe he wants to be friends. If we didn't have access to a forklift, would I really be messing with all this stuff? No. I love the forklift. The previous owner told me, he's like, if you want, you can have this thing. If not, you know, I'll throw it in the scrap pile. But I was like, this thing's got a pretty good steering column on it. Someone could probably use it. I'd hate to see this get scrapped. So I went ahead, grabbed the whole thing. I should just take the steering column out and get rid of the rest. I lost him for a while, but there he is. Snack in the bucket. No stopping. It's like 10 o'clock and this is what I do in my free time. I do not know what in the world is wrong with me. Here I have one Jeep sprawled out across the driveway. That's something that people don't really understand is when you take apart a vehicle, it quadruples in size. I think that's why a lot of people get demotivated. I mean, look how daunting this can look to someone that's never assembled one of these before. I'm like, okay, that's that. But if you don't know what you're doing, it can be frustrating. This thing, on the other hand, this thing is sweet. It almost looks like it could be the brother to the submarine. The thing sits really high. I mean, I don't know what tire is this. It's got El Dorado 750 by 16 Super Deep Lug 2. Thing looks wicked. And to me it looks like it's on a 2-inch lift, but it's not. That's a crazy part. I mean, obviously the tub is pretty bad, but for a wheeling Jeep, I mean, what would you care? I mean, the thing just looks sweet. Little roll bar. There's some other parts that probably I'll just throw this in with the other Jeep. So it's got the passenger seat, a rear seat that's not an original two-way seat, but it will fit in there, I believe. All the shifter levers work fine. Now this thing does have a little PTO, and I've never seen this knob before, a PTO knob. So it's got that. Then you go underneath the thing. Nice fuel filter. The PTO box is under there. Probably can't see. Behind the hater pipe there. Alright, this is a pretty solid vehicle. Pop the hood. Fancy air cleaner. This engine last ran, they're thinking about a year ago or so. And there's a lot of paperwork on this thing I'll show you. It looks like the previous owner did put some love into the thing. I'm thinking we just clean the points, or maybe, you know, it needs a coil or something. Well, there's why they might not have spark right there. Check that out. Check out the carburetor. You know, make sure the oil's good, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and jump on that thing next. And if you want a little trail rig, the body is perfect for it, because from afar it looks decent. You know, if you know your Jeeps, you can tell this thing's been patched over because there's no drain hole right there. Many fenders to choose from, all pretty bad. But if you're doing a wheeling Jeep, who cares? Windshield frame's actually pretty good. As we all know, the first thing I like to do when I work on a Jeep is to check the vitals. That is wiring, engine oil, and antifreeze. I already see something I don't like right here. Is that wire is pretty jiggly. And it goes straight to the alternator. This stuff seems to be alright. I see that the coil ground is not hooked up. Let's see. Now what is... Ooh, what is this? Now check that out. They don't even have the coil. So the guy told me it didn't have spark and wasn't getting fuel. They've got the distributor wired from here going all the way under the dash, which is not the correct way to do it. It's supposed to be going off of the coil here. They got a really thick wire on the coil. That's pretty odd. Go ahead, we'll look. What we got here? We got a normal key switch. Go ahead, check our antifreeze. And that's nice, actually. These are the things that continue to amaze me when I buy something. So we'll know Gosh, that does not feel like there's anything in there. Well, at least check the oil. That's nice. So it rubs the dipstick when you pull it out. Well, that looks really clean, actually. Check this out. Not good. Look at that. My goodness. Yeah, that needs a new belt. I could see that they made their own alternator bracket that is out of adjustment. And the belt has been pinched right there. Nice. Another game I like to play with these old Jeeps is what kind of coil does it have? Another game I like to play with these old Jeeps is what coil does it have? Is it a 6-volt coil and a 12-volt system? A 12-volt internally resisted or 12-volt externally resisted? That's something you need to check on any Jeep that you buy, because like we've already seen, people will absolutely hack things up. Alright, 12 volts made in Mexico. That doesn't tell us much at all. We're going to assume that is internally resisted and move on our way. Hose doesn't stay on very well. Why don't you go ahead and throw a little zip tie on her. This is a 4-post key switch, and it's clearly labeled ignition. That would be the positive side of the coil, because that's basically sending power to the engine. Battery is obviously battery. Up here is ST for starter. Then over here is for accessories. So what would be an accessory, you might ask yourself? Well, you know, I'd like to think headlights, taillights, or, you know, things of that nature. No. This wire right here goes straight to the distributor. Now, this might be how they did some things way back in the day, but I've owned many, many, many Jeeps and cars and things of that nature. I've never seen the wire from the distributor going to the key switch. Got the coil all wired up properly. When I was looking under the dash, look what I found. Distribution blocks as well as relays up there. And that's an externally resisted coil, so I would have lost that bet. We'll hook up a jumper to it, turn the key switch, and see if headlights or any of that stuff works for cranking it over. Well, that was a failure. I think we got too many old connections under there, and it's just going to be blowing and popping fuses. So we're going to go ahead, we're just going to disconnect all the old wiring right there, and then just do the bare minimum of the coil and the starter. We're going to give her a little love juice and see if she doesn't pop over. The starter feels really slow, but the easiest way to tell about spark, go ahead and we pop the distributor cap off. Remember the orientation. And we need to see if we're getting spark in the cap. But if we kind of arc it ourselves, it does. Try next is see how it's on the lobe right there. We're going to go ahead and manually crank the engine so that way it's flat. That way it's not on the lobe and it's actually touching here, and we'll see if we got spark. We'll give her another try before going into the spark plugs. Alright, we're going to check the plugs. I also notice that this cap up here is not on tight at all. We're going to go ahead and clean off the end of the spark plug with some Scotch-Brite. Get the electrode all nice and cleared up. Every plug has been cleaned off. We're going to go ahead and give her another. Oh yeah! Purred like a kitten. There's nothing in the fuel pump, which is telling me it's not getting gas up to the carburetor, which previous owner did say it was not getting fuel. Easy way to check this, I'm going to go ahead and take that hose off. I'm going to blow compressed air through the line and take this cap off. put a blue rag over it, and if it knocks the blue rag off, that tells me that the lines are clear and that there's not a clog in it. New plan, we got an external fuel tank hooked up to the fuel pump. We're going to see if it pulls out of there. If it doesn't, then we know that the fuel pump is bad. Fuel pump is officially dead. It's the weirdest fuel pump I've ever removed. So I couldn't get the socket on the nut, and I'm like, what in the world's going on? So I removed the oil line because that's always in the way. It still wouldn't go on. Then finally I realized there's this little pin right here, and this pin had pushed itself all the way over and locked up against the nut so you couldn't get the socket around it. Never seen that before, ever. So go ahead, we're going to junk this thing. Replace the fuel pump. Fuel lines are back on. Battery is charged. Let's see what we got here. I know it's going to take a bit to suck fuel. And this thing's about empty. See if the old carburetor works. Yeah, let's see if she just cranks. Got some fuel starting to pour in right there. We've also got a leak on the carburetor, which is not good. Going here is a rebuilt carburetor. I actually had this rebuilt sitting on the shelf just for that special opportunity to come up. So got that on, new fuel line, put the air cleaner on because that's how hopeful I am that this thing's gonna run. Hope she runs good because that carburetor, we got a lot of effort into that thing. It took like 3 carburetors to make one. I did see there's a lot of gas down inside the manifold here. I think the old carburetor is leaking, so I'm sure she's flooded, but we're gonna give her a shot. Holy smokes! Just like that! Oh! Purrs like a kitten! Ladies and gentlemen, it's officially day 2. I went ahead and pulled the starter off, make sure it was working good, because it was kind of hit or miss. And I went ahead, cleaned up the wiring that goes to it. Oh yeah! Alright. Push some snow. Oh, purrs like a kitten. Check that out. Actually, this thing actually runs really good. Not seeing any fuel leaks here. And this is running on gas that is, you know, at least a year old, probably 2. Does this thing not look absolutely majestic out here? Reminds me of the old submarine a little bit. Got the desert tan, high stance, roll bar. This thing is pretty wicked. It really didn't take that much work at all to get it running. Once we figured out what was going on, which of course that's with anything else, figuring out what's going wrong is the hardest part and the most time consuming. I mean, look at that angle. Really all I needed was a battery, carburetor, fuel line, fuel pump, and that's all it took to run and drive. Of course now, the brakes are going to be an issue for someone, and the body work, of course. I personally am not going to do it. I'm going to go ahead, send her down the road. Had some fun in the process. It was good to revive another Jeep instead of sitting outside out in the weeds, which this thing was basically out in the weeds when I found it, which kind of too bad because it really didn't take a lot of work to get running. And there's another one for the books.